So this is one of my next odd experiments. It's something that a friend of mine does regularly, and this is raw fleece. It is poopy, it is stinky, and it needs to be cleaned. The whole tub is full of fleece. I want to make a bunch of sheet felt, thick felted sheet to either go camping with or put on the inside of shoes or both. So for that I need nice fleece like this, but not so yucky and stinky. So we're going to swint it. The word is swint, S-U-I-N-T, and it's a technique where I use bacterial decomposition to clean the fleece. So it's the bacteria that comes with all the dirt that's on the sheep naturally, on the poopies and the who knows what's. And I add water, lots of water. I put on a lid, and it's in a black plastic bin in the sun for several days, 2, 3, 4 days, depending on the weather. And it will start to ferment. Like a lot. It will get stinky. I have seen the results at my friend's place. It's absolutely phenomenal. I don't feel like washing this by hand, so I'm going to try the suint method. Just gonna leave it hanging in there until it's full. Oh, I'm very curious. This is the next. At least step. I know it already works. The unboxing more is like can I make it work, but since it's fermentation, see what happens. I'm pretty sure it should be fine. Yeah, that's fermented. Yeah, we should have this as smell-o-vision. You can see that the liquid has turned a disgusting mucky yellowish color. It's starting to get opaque. Funny enough, the wool itself looks a little soapy, which is exactly what I would be looking for, because the whole swinting method is based on making a natural soap, and there's a slight shimmer to the surface. So this has been sitting for about a week, I think. Just about a week. I started without a culture, so I had to first make, well, I didn't, the wool first made its own culture. All you have to do is put it in a black bucket in water, just about submerged. Don't put too much water, enough is enough, and let it sit in a warm area. So you really want to have it nice and warm, like regular fermentation. So hence the black garbage bin. This one's got wheels too, so it's semi-easy to move. And the next step is taking this out and putting them on the pallets to drip for a few hours, and then I'll do several cold water rinses. But they're more like dunks. I'm just putting them in a bucket, adding cold water gently. So what we want to avoid is agitation, and that's what happened here too. The fermentation is taking care of the cleaning, and we are not using any agitation, which would normally help with cleaning. And the fermentation is helping in the cleaning by converting the potassium salts from the sweat of the sheep that have accumulated over the time that the sheep had this fleece on its body, with the lanolin, the fat, and then when you add water, the combination ferments into a soapy liquid. And that is what will take the excess grease out, the potassium salts out. A lot of the dirt and fat and sand will fall out of the fleece, will go into suspension in the water, and it'll help clean the fleece naturally with the minimum amount of agitation and the minimal amount of effort. All I have to do is be patient. and have land, as this stuff stinks. It is a fermented or going bad fleece. So as my friend said, who I'm emulating her experiences, Angelica said that once it starts to smell like a manure pile, you know you're done. Well, we have goats and horses. This is not what a manure pile smells like. This is what a dead deer along the side of the road smells like. So I think it's good. But yeah, a manure pile would have been nicer. And look at that. So what you can do is once you squint the fleece, which takes about a week, you can put the next one in right after you scoop the previous one out. You'll already have an active fermentation, and the next one will take a lot less time, probably around like 4 days or so. And I heard from my friend that there are people who use this method on an ongoing scale, that they've had a fermentation liquid going for years. We're going to have some very fertile grass over here with all the yummy remnants that we're adding to the soil. So don't throw this away. I've been putting it in buckets and giving it to our vegetable gardens. It's very nutritious. So there's actually a little bit of dirt that comes out that I find to the bottom of the barrels. And what is also cool to see is that when I pour the swint water from one container in another, I get bubbles, and they look a lot like soap bubbles. So that's your proof. All natural soap. So that's rinse number one. Well, two. Swint number one, rinse number one. And as you can see, hope you can, the water is still fairly dark. It's not as yellow as the other, but it's definitely not clean. It's not clear. So we'll do this another time. So I first dump this on the gardens, and then we'll do rinse number 2. So this is the next day of the swinting project. This was the last cleaning water. As you can see, that is pretty clean. So I did end up using only 3 rinses. The original bacterial culture is in here. As you can see, I'm saving that for the next bunch. I'm keeping the lid closed. So I'm finding that this stuff is really dirty, and it's still a little crusty, but once I get my combs in here, it'll be fine. It's a little, I can feel the lanolin in on my fingers, but it's not nearly as greasy as it was. This was all black tipped, and that is totally workable. Not as bad as that. Haha. So 99% of the fleece cleaned up really, really well, and this was a dirty, dirty fleece. And look at this, this is all fluffy, ready to go. And honestly, nope, smells like sheep. It doesn't smell like wet sheep. So this is the magic of swint, which is a bacterial fermentation by making its own soap, by using the swint or the body sweat, the potassium salts of the sheep, combined with acids that are also naturally occurring, and then the lanolin, again naturally occurring. You add water to it and let it sit in warm weather, hence the black garbage can, and nicely in the sun for about 7 days for the first culture, and 3 or 4 days for the second one, because you can just keep going. And then about 3 rinses after the 7 days, and you let it dry out. The bacteria are anaerobic bacteria, so as long as the bacteria are encapsulated in liquid, so as long as the stuff is damp, it will stay smelly. But the moment it is dry, totally dry, the anaerobic bacteria will die and the smell will be gone. So it won't get smelly after it gets wet again. And this stuff will, because I'm going to felt this. I want to make sheet felt. So we'll see how that goes. And as far as I can see, I am off to a great start. So I hope you learned something. This was quite the fun project. And the stinky one. And my family thought I was crazy. But you know what? Sometimes it's the crazy projects that keep us entertained. Happy swinting!